Always do it on my own, so I gotta get through it. And the only thing I know is to love what I'm doing. Never give up, never slow.
Have been asking me repeatedly to do a video on Patty Mayo. First and foremost, I had to do some research on Patty Mayo. A bunch of you guys have recommended me watch his videos. I watched a couple episodes. It was a while ago now, and I wasn't interested. So in order to do this video, I had to watch a couple of his videos, but the first and foremost biggest thing I want to tell you guys is Donut Operator did a fantastic 10-minute video and really did his research on Patty Mayo. And I'm actually going to put a link to his video in the description, so I felt it was appropriate to give him credit. And he really went all out to do his research and find out more about Patty Mayo, and he was good about connecting the dots with everything. So first and most importantly, I have to give Patty Mayo credit. He knows how to market his YouTube channel, and it has exploded exponentially. Whatever he's doing is working for him, and that is fantastic. And from the few episodes that I've seen, the camera work is really good, the editing is good, and overall it seems interesting. It's entertaining. That's about where my interest stops, and I personally don't watch him. If you're a teenager and you're like wanting to be a cop when you're older, I can see where his videos would be motivational. But one thing I want to keep in mind and remind you guys is that what his show depicts is not real law enforcement. There's two things that concern me with Patty Mayo. Number one is, of course, the fact that Patty Mayo is not a police officer. The second thing that concerns me is how he presents himself in front of the public. Not just the people around him, but obviously millions of people on YouTube. The way he unprofessionally screams at people that he's supposedly locking up or taking to jail is not something any officer should be doing. That breaks just about every moral in our handbook. In real life, if I was to start screaming at people through the back of my window and calling them assholes, I would probably have a write-up waiting for me. I think we call that conduct unbecoming of an officer. And I'll be the first to admit, guys, there have been times where I have lost my cool. I have called people dumbass, I've called people other names in frustration, but I don't stand there in front of a camera crew or a group of people and scream at somebody through the back of my window either. Even without the camera crew and the group of people, I don't scream at people in my car. But the few times I've done it, there's a time and a place for that. And it's not when somebody's handcuffed in the back of your car. Another thing I want to point out, and the fact that I just made that statement might seem hypocritical because I have very crude humor on my channel. I get that. Of all the cop channels on YouTube, by far mine and probably Donut Operators are the least politically correct. So sometimes that can be misconstrued as unprofessional. But my channel is here for education and entertainment. Part of entertainment is connecting with your audience. Connecting with your audience sometimes means crude humor. But I am not claiming to be anything I'm not. I really am a police officer. I have a work history to prove it, and I have my law enforcement certification to back it up. Again, my channel is for education and entertainment to be intertwined together. But the crude humor that I use on this channel is not something I would say while I'm in uniform on duty. I do think that Patty Mayo's videos have the potential to be very entertaining to people that aren't necessarily really familiar with law enforcement or how it all works. I think the situations that he gets into are way over dramatized, but that's perfect for video. It's perfect. But as a police officer with over a decade of experience, watching Patty Mayo, he seems more like an unprofessional cowboy than he does a law enforcement officer. Patty Mayo would be the type of officer on your shift that nobody wants to associate with because you don't want to end up in federal court when he eventually goes there. Because officers like him do end up in federal court eventually for violating somebody's rights. And every department has that cowboy that wants to get into everything they can. And then they usually expect other people in their shift to help them out with that extra work they created, which means more paperwork. But to me, Patty Mayo is that prime example of that just overly eager cop, that rookie cop that rides that fine line on whether or not he actually has probable cause. You know, on the other hand, Patty Mayo and I do have something in common. When I was young and before I was a cop, I also had police lights on my car illegally. But the biggest thing I want you guys to take from this video is the fact that Patty Mayo's channel is for entertainment purposes. Okay, it's not a documentary. Nothing about it. He never claims anything is factual. And Donut actually went to the extent of looking into this, and there's like some casting website where you can sign up to be on his show or something. I don't want to misquote Donut. He did a really good video, and again, I really want you guys to check it out. If you're watching this, either you already have seen his video or you will enjoy his video. But Patty Mayo makes money to film things. like I do. YouTube is no different than, say, TV stations when it comes to ratings. You get paid based on views and advertisements. So me personally, I have no doubt that the majority of his show, if not all of it, is probably scripted. It's probably scripted, very well rehearsed, and there's probably a lot of waivers signed considering how much physical activity is on the show. So if anybody gets hurt, nobody can sue. And I say probably because I'm not there to watch the filming. So I can't say without a shadow of a doubt. The other problem I had when it comes to Patty Mayo, he is very much one of those stereotypical tactical guys. What I mean by that is him and the other people on his show that are on his team, they are always dressed out in the most perfect tactical gear, never any dirt, never any scratches or scruffs on his gear, and it's way overdone. But the worst part is, they don't know how to use their gear. The last episode I watched, his partner in the passenger seat was literally with one hand pointing his Glock out the driver's side window near Patty's face. Let me catch an officer pointing his service weapon 3 inches from my face, and we'll see what happens. Between sweeping his partner with his gun and awkwardly holding it in one hand when he's not even pointing at the target, it's very obvious that these guys have no formal training. And if they do, it went right out the window. But again, it's all about the views and the ratings. Most people watching the show that have no law enforcement experience are not going to catch those type of discrepancies. Hell, even when I watch Cops, which is an actual real police show, cops always judge other cops. So like when I watch Cops, I'm picking everything apart that they're doing wrong. It's very easy to Monday morning quarterback. But after doing this job for so long, you notice officer safety issues. You notice discrepancies in what they're doing. But as a veteran officer with almost 11 years of experience and 4.5 of those years on an actual SWAT team, I'm calling bullshit on Patty Mayo. That's my opinion. And as far as the tactical stuff, guys, the biggest thing to remember about anything tactical is what's between your ears. It has nothing to do with the gear you have. There are some pieces of gear that are better suited for certain scenarios than others, but tactical is what's in your mind. Thinking, planning, and executing successfully, that is tactical.